r/askreddit, what is a quote from a comedian you'll never forget? My friends laughed at me when I said I wanted to be a comedian. Well, they're not laughing now, are they? What is it like to have 4 kids? Imagine you are drowning, and then someone hands you a baby. Jim Gaffigan. His rant about not wanting to be caught at McDonald's is one of my favorite bits of all time. I'm just waiting for a hooker, he should be here any minute. Cocaine is God's way of saying you make too much money. Robin Williams. God gave man a brain and a penis. And only enough blood to run one at a time. Robin was and still is a national treasure. He was my favorite growing up, and to this day I'm sad we lost him. It's not a joke, but this is my favorite quote of his. You're only given a little spark of madness. You mustn't lose it. Ballet, men wearing pants so tight you can tell what religion they are. I find a duck's opinion of me is very much influenced by whether or not I have bread. Mitch Hedberg. There are 6 ducks out there and they all want sun chips. When you are on fire, and running down the street, people will get out of your way. Richard Pryor. Every time you clog a toilet, you exceeded someone's expectations. I remember quite a few of his routines by heart, but this one comes to mind first. Take Idaho's license plates, they say famous potatoes. Then there's New Hampshire, their license plates say live free, or die. I don't know, I think that somewhere between famous potatoes and live free or die the truth lies. And I think it's closer to famous potatoes. George Carlin. So, I sit at the hotel at night and I think of something that's funny. Or, if the pen is too far away, I have to convince myself that what I thought of wasn't funny. I'm against picketing, but I don't know how to show it. I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for the people who like country music, denigrate means put down. Bob Newhart. One of the best stand-ups of all time. A legend. When Norm Macdonald was on Comedians in Cars getting coffee and he brings up Cosby. Seinfeld seems uncomfortable. Norm, now do you think Cosby's legacy will be hurt? Jerry, yeah. Norm, you do, huh? I mean, there's a comedian, Patton Oswalt, he told me, I think the worst part of the Cosby thing was the hypocrisy. And I disagreed. Jerry, you disagreed with that? Norm, yeah, I thought it was the raping. This is gold, I think he did this bit in his stand-up too. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Stephen Wright. It's a small world, but I wouldn't want to paint it. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, which is just long enough to be President of the United States. /Spike Milligan. Who said this? For me it's I told you I was ill on his gravestone. My brother-in-law is German. He came to me and said I can't get a good bagel at home, and I said, well, whose fault is that? Emo Phillips. Every night, I used to pray to the Lord for a new bicycle. Then I realized he doesn't work that way, so I stole one and asked him to forgive me. He had the best opening line I ever heard. Probably the worst thing is when you have to murder a loved one because they're the devil. Other than that, it's been a good day. When you are dead, you do not know you are dead. It's only painful and difficult for others. The same applies when you are stupid. I like plugging the drain when I take a shower. Then pretend I'm in a sub that's been hit. Stephen Wright. I have the world's largest collection of seashells. I keep them on all the beaches of the world. Perhaps you've seen it. I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. My grandma gave me $10 and said don't tell your mother. I told her it'll cost you more than that. I can make birds levitate but no one cares. I'm not an adventurous person. I've only ever used one side of a cheese grater, James Acaster. Everywhere is walking distance if you have the time. It says here in this history book that, luckily, the good guys have won every single time. What are the odds? You know what I want my friends to do when I die? I want them just to gather around and try to bring me back to life. Of course science doesn't know everything. If it did, it would stop. Dara O'Brien. Herbal medicine has been around for thousands of years. Indeed it has, and then we tested the stuff and the things that worked became medicine. And the rest of it is just a nice bowl of soup and some pot curry. I was at this casino minding my own business, and this guy came up to me and said, "You're gonna have to move, you're blocking a fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run. If you're flammable and have legs, you are never blocking a fire exit. Make all guns legal. Make every bullet cost $5,000. That way when someone gets shot you know that motherfucker deserved it. Chris Rock. I'm gonna get a second job, and take out a loan, and then we're gonna see about that. So even if you get shot by a stray bullet, you wouldn't have to go to no doctor to get it taken out. Whoever shot you would take their bullet back, like I believe you got my property. Stretching. How long will that take to fix it? Fix it? No, that's just something you do now, till you and your shitty ankle both die. What if every relationship you're in is just someone slowly figuring out they don't like you as much as they'd hoped they would? I feed a child, clothe him, educate him in Africa for 75 cents a day. That's nothing compared to what it cost me to send him there. If alcohol is a crutch, then Jack Daniels is the wheelchair. Robin Williams. People commit suicide and people go, I don't understand why. And I go, you don't? What do you live in a cotton candy house or something? What the fuck? Norm Macdonald. I'm pretty sure, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure if you die, the cancer dies at the same time. That's not a loss. That's a draw. Camping is such a terrible idea. Go out, sleep in the woods in a tent. I pay my taxes so that doesn't happen. Camping is a tradition in my family. Camping was a tradition in everyone's family until they invented the house. Jim Gaffigan. Build a man a fire, and he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire, and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Sir Terry Pratchett. George Carlin, fuck you, I'm getting in the airplane. Mitri Martin, I just bought an L-shaped couch. It's a lowercase l. I think they named oranges before they named carrots. Me and my wife can't have kids not the way we do it. Jimmy Carr. I've started cooking with wine. That sounds so fancy, cooking with wine. What I do is I get drunk and I make rice. I tell my friends come over, I'm cooking with wine. They come over, I'm drunk, and there's rice everywhere. Kevin Nealon. I spilled spot remover on my dog, now he's gone. I play the harmonica. The only way I can play is if I get my car going really fast, and stick it out the window. I got 3 tickets for practicing. Later in the show, I put a new engine in my car. I didn't take the old one out. It goes 500 miles an hour. The harmonica sounds fantastic. If you're gonna miss heaven, why do it by 2 inches? Sam Kinison. It's one thing to make people laugh, it's another thing to make people smile. And hashtag X200B. Norm Macdonald. Always makes me think of the line from BoJack Horseman about how being famous means everyone loves you, but nobody likes you. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. Groucho Marx. Today a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively, there is no such thing as death, life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. Hey race Tom with the weather. And hashtag X200B. Bill Hicks. Another dead hero. I'm telling my husband you said I was a cunt. He knows. Ron White. I didn't want to be drunk in public. I wanted to be drunk in a bar. They threw me into public. I know I'm getting older, my last birthday cake looked like a prairie fire. Rodney Dangerfield. I'm impulsive, but I'm also quite indecisive. I don't know what I want, but I know that I want it now. Dylan Moran. Heckler, how big is your dick? Rodney, don't you remember? My wife was afraid of the dark, then she saw me naked and now she's afraid of the light. Rodney Dangerfield. The meal isn't over when I'm full. It's over when I hate myself. \edit yes this is Louis C.K. My favorite is when you tell someone they're being an asshole and they say, I'm not being an asshole. Well, it's not up to you. Everyone else gets to decide. Hey, you're being an asshole. No, I'm not. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad I checked. Is of course, but maybe bit still has me cackling to this day. Dogs are always in the push-up position. Mitch Hedberg. One of my favorite Dylan Moran bits is when he talks about hangovers, linked particularly the parts about how much worse they get as we age and how we measure how good of a night we had by how terrible we feel the next day. It's a beautiful day. The birds are swaying, the trees are singing. How was last night? It was fantastic. I can't see. Everybody thinks they're a comedian. Especially in my line of work. Norm Macdonald. This came from his memoir based on a true story, a must-read for Norm fans. My favorite thing about this line is that it was a sort of random throwaway, almost an afterthought, as he was expressing disdain for a doctor who told a joke and got a big laugh from everyone else in the room. And that doctor's joke? It was the moth story.